Today's guest is no stranger to the Windsor community. She is an elected member of the Windsor Town Council. Her local and neighboring towns' volunteer services include the Windsor High School Governance Council, 10 years as the cheer director for the Windsor Giants midget football team. She's a member of the Lynx Incorporated and the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She's an entrepreneur and a student. Please welcome Jill Jenkins to the show. So Jill, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have the pleasure of knowing you, Jill, and I want to thank you so much for coming on my show. You're actually my meaningful second guest of the show, since I have aired. But I do want to jump right into it and ask you about your current role as town councilwoman.
Okay.
So, were you always interested in the politics arena?
Well, no, politics kind of came and tapped me on the shoulder. I really, I never envisioned myself as a political leader. And I guess just one day I realized there was a need, there was a vacancy, and people kept saying to me, you know, you probably should think about that. And so I did. And that's what happened. Was
it a current event situation that you thought maybe that made you put your foot down and thought your voice needed to be heard, or that you needed to call for, some call for action?
Well, what got me interested or involved in this situation was there was some inequality, a bit of inequality happening in the schools. And my son was caught up into that. And I could see what was happening academically to him and his friends. And I'm a person who just cannot stay quiet when I see something is wrong. And so I just started speaking out about that. And I started looking into it. And I started learning more. And when I realized what was happening, then I started telling people about it. And just giving them tips and clues on what they should look out for. And that's pretty much how I got involved. I started going to Board of Ed meetings, started to pay attention to what was really going on, and quite honestly, at that time, I was quite shocked about the things that I heard at the Board of Ed meetings from certain Board of Ed members. It just really sparked me into action.
And was it a self-fulfilling thing that you just took on your own, where you felt you're going to take this challenge on your own, or did you feel compelled to, spread the word before you actually went into office to create awareness around the other parents, around the other residents around you?
So what happened was, at that time I had been the cheer director for the Windsor Giants midget team for quite a few years, and I got to know quite a few families in town. Through the girls' friends, their siblings and what have you as well. So, you just start to really love them. I mean, I started to see them as my own babies. And I knew what was happening in the schools, and I had talks with their parents, and I told them, you really do need to watch out for this. And I got more people involved. They started coming to the Board of Ed meetings. I got them interested in learning about town government and how our budget is run, how it's executed. A lot of people didn't even know that our town is run on a budget that must be voted in every single year. So a lot of people would come and vote once and think that that was it for maybe the next decade. That's not how it works. We have a budget referendum in this town, and the citizens of the town actually get the opportunity to come out, review our budget, and make sure that the officials have done all that they can to keep our taxes low and what have you. That budget must be voted in every single year. So when it's not voted, so when people come to the polls, if they vote the budget down, what that means is that we end up having to cut our taxes and we cut our budget. And usually what happens is the first budget cuts go to the schools. It's very unfortunate that that happens, but that is pretty much how it does happen. So I thought, you know, you have to be a part of the solution. You have to get involved. If you see a problem, unless you are a part of that solution, you are part of the problem. That is my philosophy, and that's really what propelled me into the position that I'm in now.
So it sounds like it started very locally.
That's right.
But very quickly, I can see, or I have witnessed your interest in not so locally.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you see yourself, let's just say 5-10 years from now, as an aspiration currently right now on the more not so local arena in politics? Do you see yourself in the legislature's office? Do you see how big do you want to go with this?
I get asked that question quite often. And, you know, truthfully, my philosophy is to be of service wherever I can. Right now, I am focused on our local town. I love this town. I love the people in it. And it's an honor for me to serve this town. So as long as I am needed or asked to serve here, that's what I will do. I have no idea where that will lead me in the future. And I really don't worry about that. I focus on the here and now. And I'm just going to continue to do the very best job that I possibly can for as long as I can.
Well, I can see your name in the lights. So up to this point, and I know it was a journey. I had the pleasure as being part of that journey.
Yes. Which I really appreciate.
Thank
by the way.
you. It was an honor for you to be in the certain role that you're in today. But from that moment till today, what have you learned? So we know why you went in. We know that you knew that the local community perhaps were not aware of how much power they have within their community.
That's right.
But what were some specific areas where you thought, this is really sad? How and why, or what are we doing wrong where we haven't given this message to our community and let them know that they have this power because they're the ones that make the change? So I know that you are like our mouthpiece, you know, to let us know what's available. And you've made them aware up front why you're doing this. You've given them, you know, some incentive to come and start joining the town council or just appearing, going to the meetings. But what have you learned in this role that perhaps we still haven't penetrated within the community that needs urgency or has some urgency to it?
Well, there's a couple things. One, the first thing I'm going to say is that as a citizen of the town, as a member of this town, you really do have a voice, and we care about your voice. People do come to the town council meetings sometimes and they'll address us, and it's usually just a few people who come. But what people should know is that if they have an issue or if they have a concern, and they feel it needs to be heard, we listen. We listen to them. They have a lot of power to come and persuade ideas. It only takes one or two people to really make some big change. That I didn't realize in the beginning. So when I started, you know, yapping my mouth, I really did not get the full gist of how powerful my voice was. All I knew was that I was speaking from my heart in my truth, and people listened, and then I realized that we need to collaborate and find a better way to solve our problems. And so that is why I became part of so many groups, because it's important that we bring a lot of people together. No one person has the answers to any one problem, but by collaborating with others, we really do come up with some great solutions to problems. So the next thing I would say, the most important thing right now is the state budget and how that might adversely affect our own finances. So we're about to go into budget season where the town council will review our budget line by line and make sure that we have accommodated everything that we need to accommodate, make sure that our budget is as tight as it possibly can be. But the big question mark hanging over our heads right now is, what will the state do? So at this point, I don't have any answers. All I know is that we're going to do our very, very best to make sure that the town is not adversely affected as much as we can avoid.
Okay. And so, stemming from that, what's our role as Windsor residents? What's our role? How can we help?
Well, we will have a budget referendum coming up. I think right now the tentative date is May 9th. We will need the townspeople to come out and vote for that budget. If the budget does not pass, unfortunately, we will have to cut the budget more than we would like to. We already know that the state budget is going to, bring some big problems for us. We have some big holes to fill. And we know that there are going to be some cuts and some losses. Okay. But if the budget does not pass, there will be bigger cuts and bigger losses. So I hope that the community will come out and support the budget so that we can continue on with the business of the town. And we will do our very, very best to make sure that that budget is as lean as possible going out to the public.
So May 9th is the magical date.
That I understand is the tentative date.
Tentative date, okay.
Right. So you're going to have to watch your postings for that.
That's right. And what would be your most meaningful accomplishment as town councilwoman throughout your journey in this role? What would be, looking back, if you had to look back 20 years later, what would be the one thing that you set out to do and that you would hope would be accomplished?
I would say, all in all, this journey started for me on the education level. And I have to say that I am super proud of our town right now. Our whole curriculum, our school curriculum has been rewritten. There's been numerous changes. We see a lot of new AP courses being offered to the students. We see a lot of students taking advantage of that. We see children of color no longer feeling so marginalized. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but we're seeing increases and we're seeing a lot of positive trends in that way. So to me, when I have people come back to me, students, my cheerleaders, they still call me Coach Jill. So when they come to me and say, Coach Jill, I did so well in such and such a class or whatever, that to me is just everything. And the other thing I would say is the community feel in our town. I really can't think of another town in any other state, really, that has what Windsor has. We are a very diverse community, and we love each other. We actually use that diversity to bring out the best in each other. And I think because of that, we stand as a model for other towns, other states. And that to me is probably the biggest accomplishment. Knowing that we can work together in love and solidarity, that's huge, especially now in this time that we're in.
So just to round up the politic talk, so where can we seek information of when those town council meetings are that we can attend, or the Board of Education meetings that we can attend? Where can we turn to find out what days they are run and the times?
Well, I can tell you that we have a robust website, townofwindsorct.org, and on that website we have all the information for meetings, councils, commissions, boards. Everything you'd want to know about our town is on that website. We have the See, Click, Fix button. I don't know if people are familiar with that, but If you see some issue around the town that needs to be addressed, you just go there, report your issue, and it gets done right away. That website is really great. The other thing is that the Windsor book that many people are familiar with. We also have a lot of meetings for our boards and commissions that are recorded in there as well. But for the town council meetings, we usually meet every other Monday. During the month of April, we'll be meeting Monday and Wednesdays to review that budget.
The budget is real.
The budget is real. The budget is real. And, you know, for anything else, definitely visit the website.
Perfect. And now to transition to a little bit more fun, the fun aspect of Jill Jenkins. So many may not know you practiced professionally in the field of interior design for 30 years.
Yes.
You were also the president and CEO of KCAD.
KiCad.
KiCad.
Yes, right.
KiCad, of course it's KiCad. KiCad Interior Planning and Design for 12 years.
That's right.
So what would you consider your genre in style?
So KiCad started out as a commercial design business. So what we did was designed office spaces to increase business efficiency, make sure that, you know, the office was presentable and beautiful and ready to accept new clients. And that was what we specialized in. So I was able to do some residences for different clients and what have you. We operated in California. And so moving here to Windsor, that kind of ended my prized joy. But at the time, it was the best decision for us to move because we did it for family.
Right.
So, but, you know, I love design work. I've been doing it for a long time. And it's not about my style. It's about what the client's style is. And we start with efficiency and making sure that the space operates the way it's supposed to, make sure it functions the way it's supposed to function. Once you get the bones around the space, then everything else is decoration. So.
What was your most unique design, either personally or professionally, in your portfolio?
Oh. Well, every single project was unique. Okay. I've done work for, I've had banks. City National Bank was one of my clients. Did many branches for them, and also office spaces. I did some work for Warner Brothers and Walt Disney. I did a really cool sound studio for Walt Disney in Burbank.
Oh my gosh.
What else? Dentist offices and did McDonald's. Did a lot of stuff.
Did anyone feed you some sort of outer space? I want this, and you kind of looked at them and brought them back to reality? Because all I can picture is, you know, when you watch your little home improvement shows, I should say, on TV, you kind of see, you know, the clients wanting the world, and then you kind of, the project manager kind of brings them back to reality.
Yeah, budget is king.
Absolutely.
Budget is king. Yeah, I've had some pretty wild requests over the years. But then once people break down that budget, then they come back down to reality. I think Walt Disney was probably the most challenging client, because when they said they wanted something, that meant they really, really wanted something. So if they wanted a boardroom with realistic mural and with lighting effects of the sky, and we made that happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds so very exciting.
Yeah.
So do you miss it? Do you ever see yourself back in it, either directly or indirectly?
Well, you know, what I decided to do was go back to school because I think we're
Right.
always learning.
That's
So right now I'm studying for my MBA.
Yes.
And I do see myself in the future at least utilizing my knowledge of buildings, because buildings have been part of my career forever.
Okay.
But I don't see myself going back into design.
Okay.
Know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So perhaps a consultant for some company.
Maybe.
Indirectly and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing your name once again back in the highlight in the sky.
Thank you.
Back on the lights. So you're also a member of the Links
That's right.
and the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority,
That's right.
which are two organizations dedicated to community service.
That's right.
I know that many may have heard of these groups or know someone who is a member and or who would like to become a member. So can you tell us a little bit, a little history on the groups, why they formed, when and how they recruit for new members, just to give a little bit of awareness of where it all stemmed from and its existence today?
Sure. Well, I recently became a Links. I've been a Link about 2 years now.
Okay.
And the Links was formed by a group of women who, most of them, their husbands were, professionals at that time, and they saw a need in the community, and they decided that they were going to start filling some needs in the community. And then there's Delta Sigma Theta. I've been a Delta for 33 years.
Wow.
Yeah, Delta Sigma Theta, I think a lot of people are familiar with that. It's an organization of college-educated women, and we also work in the community to fulfill needs that we see in the community. I don't know what to say. They're amazing, both of them. It's given me the opportunity to get to know women, amazing women, surround myself with women who are like-minded, who care about the community, who want to see people's lives improved, and will work tirelessly to make sure that happens.
That's great. As for myself, have been to many of the events, I can see how dedicated and passionate you all are towards your cause.
That's right.
And raising funds for scholarships and so forth.
That's right.
What's your message for the community to get involved with organizations that make sense to them or what their passion is?
Well, I'll quote one of my sorors, Shirley Chisholm, who said that community service is the rent we pay for the space that we take on the earth.
Okay.
Very so powerful. Yes, very much so. So I do believe that when you are part of a community, you have a responsibility to do your best to make that community the best it possibly can be. So with that being said, yes, definitely get involved with something. It's wonderful to be able to focus your passions in a way that will benefit others, and it also it fills your heart as well. So I think that people definitely should get involved, surround themselves with people who are going in the same direction as you are, and do your best to serve others.
So I think what I run into a lot is, oh, Maria, you get involved, I see you here, I see you there. I wish I found my niche. I don't know what my niche is. I don't know what my passion is, but they want to do something. They want to give. They want to be part of something. So what's a few advices that you can give anyone who kind of feels stuck? Like, I want to do something, but what can I do? What would you what's the message for them?
Open your eyes and open your ears, because there is a need everywhere you turn. I would say just do what you feel is right in your heart, and that passion will come. That passion will come.
There's sometimes a sense where your direction is driven by sometimes heartache. You know, sometimes it's driven out of happiness. So I'd like to always, you know, kind of bring them into whatever is going on in their personal, you know, happenings at that moment and take it kind of from there. But it is a hard question to answer when asked, you know, at impromptu, because you can't figure out someone else's passion, right? They have to kind of
they have to follow their heart
and so forth. So for anyone who's in that position, I guess, you know, it's okay, you'll find it. The basis of this show is not only to share personal journeys of local talented women as yourself, and thank you for sharing your journey with us tonight. It is also providing a safe space for women of all ages. You certainly earned your successes. I know your family have recognized your successes. I know your friends, because I've celebrated your successes. But your successes will be recognized on a larger platform this year. You were nominated as one of the 100 women of color at this year's gala because of your giving to the community and your positive role modeling for the young women out in the communities, or many communities. I have attended this gala a couple years now, and I know because there are 100 recipients, they aren't typically allowed to do a speech.
That's right.
But if you were given the opportunity to give a speech in honor of being nominated or recognized for your successes, what would your speech be?
Well, first of all, I would have to say thank you for the recognition. It's a great honor, and one that was unexpected, but very much appreciated. And the other, I think, would be to see the positive in the world, and focus on that, and do your best to be part of solutions in the world.
That's great. And when should we see you on stage?
Well, the gala is scheduled for March 24th. So I'm still looking for a dress, and I'm very excited about it.
And the location is at the Bushnell.
That's right.
And tickets are still available.
That's right.
Tickets are still available. Well, Jill, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're not only to me a sister, but you're a friend. And once again, I thank you so much for being on the program.
And I'm so happy to be able to support you in this way also. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Well, that does it for today. My name is Maria del Carmen, your host. Please join us again for more GyrlSense.